Mr. Obama, my name is Patrice Tegn, and I wish one day for you to see this video because it's very important. It represents the voice of a non-negligible segment of the population. You represent the voice of the real people. I'm talking about the voice of the people a little bit like yourself. You know, you are African American, and you're doing the best you can. You know, as a president of the United States of America, I give you a lot of props. As an American, I can reconcile, you know, with many of the decisions that you took over here. If I decide or chose to live that superficial kind of life. But as I say, I am an African American, which means I also have vested interests because of my origin and because of my conscience. You know, to call you and have a say and have a say in the effect of your decision on me and on my people. Mr. President, let me tell you, with all due respect, I supported you. I was in Chicago the night of your victory. I made a trip. I just moved back to Cincinnati, so I made a trip to Chicago with two of my friends. We cheered for you. You were our promise. You were our own in the White House, just like Jewish, Irish people had theirs. You know, people from UK had theirs. You were ours. We truly believe in you. We vested a lot of interest. We had a lot of hope that you was promising anyway, and you run on hope, and we believe in that hope. In the way, as I say, in America, even though things hasn't been easy for most, we can actually we feel like you're doing with what you have at hand. But on the other hand, your foreign policy. I'm not going to talk about the whole thing. Even though we have much to say, you know, the Middle East policies. What I'm going to be focused on today is your policy toward Africa, because that's the one I'm directly connected to. You know, that's my direct background. You can run away from it. You know, that's who I am. That is my family, my tradition, my custom. You know, still back there. So therefore, I do have vested interests, and I don't have any other way to say this, but I think the support of the major humanitarian crisis that you are conducting in Libya is totally wrong. It's wrong in many levels, Mr. President. It's so wrong that we actually I'm talking about, when I say we, the real was real African. The African that believe in promise, in a better life, in wanting to contribute into the entire pool of global community. The African that are not sold out yet to special interests, but who believe and view African to a different lens, to a different angle, to a different face, to a different promise for the future. That is the kind of African we are. That is the kind of a voice I represent, Mr. President, with all due respect. The very reason why the global community rose up to intervene in Sudan, which was a very legitimate cause. Anyway, the idea that was sold to people that African Arabic from the north was suppressing, was abusing, was basically killing and enslaving the black African from the south of Sudan, the dark-skinned one. The whole world was outraged, and therefore the world stood up to go to stop the atrocity. Will result in the splitting of the country, where they split the country in two, even though by coincidence the South happened to have, a lot of oil, in their land. They said they're good to go. They have oil, so they split the country and have the Southern Sudan and then the Northern Sudan or Sudan. But why is the NATO, the community, some part of some group of the global community are supporting the same effort in Libya, promoting, empowering a certain group of people to kill black people in the basis of the color of the skin, on the false pretext that there might be Muammar Gaddafi's mercenary. No, everybody was black over there. Now the situation is a total chaos. And everybody knows about it. But why is Mr. Obama, aren't you saying anything about it to let the world know what is going on and do what needs to be done to stop those atrocities, those killings? Why? In the first place, why this urgent need and all those efforts and money, everything invested, sacrifices in so many innocent life to remove Muammar Gaddafi? Why was the urgency so? I don't understand why it was so urgent. I really don't. Yes, Mr. Muammar Gaddafi, he has been in power for 42 years. I can see that is not necessarily the kind of democracy that we know, even though we're judging from the distance. But I give you that, 42 years for one person to be in power in one country is a little much, yes. I can also see maybe the Lockerbie situation, even though there's different opinions about it. Okay, I can see some people, still having resentment or feel that justice has never fully been done at that level. That's them, that's an opinion. But is that really a sufficient reason to go destroy the entire society, the entire country, killing many people, many innocent people, on the pretext of protecting innocent life? as the resolution 1973 stated, by all means, and the general conducting the operation of NATO, the blatant abuse of the human right, and I can't even find the right word to say it. He says he was mandated to do everything to protect the civil population, the civilian. This is the irony. So everything includes killing more civilians to protect few civilians. Is that right, Mr. Obama? I wish you get to listen to this. It's coming from the bottom of my heart. It's not just me. You can get on any social media. You will see what the real African, not just those who trying to make it look good, to serve it to you, because I don't know what kind of benefit, what kind of support they need from you. You know, they might be head of state, they might be some businessmen. I don't know. Those who tell you about the situation, who brief to you, what kind of best interest they have, what kind of lobby, what kind of where they want, what they want you to believe and why. But what I'm telling you is how we feel it, real people. This is the voice of the real people. I wish, Mr. President, that you get to listen to this one day. Your involvement, we saw how the whole thing was being sold. Miss Hillary Clinton, your Secretary of State, we saw how hard she was selling that war to the public. We saw how what kind of public, what kind of effort she was being pulling, diplomatic effort she was being put into place. You know, going to Sarkozy in France, talking to Mr. Cameron in the UK. We saw how the whole thing was being put together. There had never been election that was proposed in Libya. Yes, it was a dictatorial regime. And there was a militia in the region of Benghazi that stood up and went to the police station to steal ammunition and weapons. And they faced resistance, of course, like it will be anywhere in the world. If, just think about it, I'm here in Cincinnati. If some crazy folks, just because they hate you so much and think you are a communist, like many Tea Party people think, they think you are a socialist in the worst kind who's trying to destroy America. In their crazy thought, they form a group of many crazy people and they decide to start a revolution. And they went straight to the police station right there with their guns, shooting on the police right here in Hyde Park District 2. How do you think they're going to respond to it? Of course they're going to shoot, they're going to kill, they're going to shoot them back. Not only because they have to stop those criminals, but to protect their own self. And it's exactly what the police, the police people in Benghazi responded to an armed aggression. And that gave the NATO through in our nation, where there was no African representation, to decide in the fate of the people in Libya, on the fate of the people in Libya. Libya happened to be a member, a country member of the United African Unity, African United, institution of Africa, you know, African Unity. But there was no one. But Mr. President, that is not giving legitimacy to our organization or setting up, encouraging people to respect our institutions. That is not giving us respect. That is diminish diminishing our stand in the world. Mr. President, if you want going to do something to empower us, please don't do anything to diminish us. Leave us where we are. We will hope that we can work together, Mr. President. We will hope that we can work together in the future. But not letting a single African country or a representative of the African Union and a decision that was going to change a life, that was going to affect the union's interests, directly affect the union interests in terms of life and in terms of profits. Yes, let's be real about it. Many people today are claiming they want one of the other kind of a contract, oil contract, just because of the involvement, of getting rid of Gaddafi. Even though by doing so they destroy the entire infrastructure that Libya took years to build. They destroyed all the military capability. All the plane was shut down. All the building was dead. Libya is back to the stage of Stone Age today. It's a good thing for business because Libya has to rebuild. The good news is they have money that they can use to rebuild the country. But now, who's going to rebuild the country? The same people who went and destroyed it. Are we seeing something wrong with that picture? When people who are waging the war have a direct vested interest, have a massive vested interest or benefit from that war. RCS, for me, this is wrong. In my opinion, this is wrong. The Libya war was not necessary. They didn't go through all due process. We didn't even know who was the rebels. Later on, we heard that there was evidence that many of the higher ranking of that rebel faction was actually Al-Qaeda affiliate, even though it was later discredited and said no, it was just flicks of Al-Qaeda operative, amongst the rank of those rebels. Even if it's just a flicks, I mean, by association, come on, people. That means at least if somebody working for you openly, and he's a political ideas, and we've been fighting since 10 years, Al-Qaeda, and now we know that they're outside and fighting, as long as it goes toward what we want to achieve. They become good guys. Come on, Mr. President. I won't go any longer, even though I really have a lot in my heart to say. I'm just saying, the good news to you is that you have another mandate to go, and everybody. I mean, we African are very, 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 very forgiving people. You know that we're very forgiving people. Despite all the atrocity that we faced in the course of history, we're still smiling, happy people, and show our resilience. So now you're gonna have to earn our trust and our vote, back by letting them know how you intended to repair the damage, or to try to repair the damage that you caused already to our people and to our continent. There's no need to say to our interests in the region. We all know what Gaddafi and the money that was to put in an African fund, to help fund the union and make it stronger as a valuable group that can also look after our own interests those measures are important to the new generation of Africa. You know, I mean, the wide majority. I'm talking the upper 80% of the people, the real people in Africa, have the same belief as I. You can look on the best way to look is on social media. You will find it everywhere. You know, there's actually there's no, I really, unless somebody is really walking very close to the government, who's just a handful. You know, you will see nobody who can have a different opinion from what I'm talking right now. But as I was saying, you know, to stick to the message, you still have an opportunity to win us back by telling us how you intend to try, you know, to bring back the clock, you know, to repair some of the damage that was caused. Maybe you can win us back. It will depend on how genuine you are in your effort. The other thing that play well to you is, in the other side, we really haven't seen anyone that shows by his action or by his saying, by his policy, that he will do it, make it better for us, you know. So, not to say that they will not, we haven't heard it yet. Perhaps we might have heard it later, but we haven't heard it yet. At least in the domestic front, even though things has always not 100% be where I personally would like it to be, but many of the decisions you have made, I can reconcile. I can understand why, and I can see myself in your chair, in your shoe, making those decisions. I'm not going to go into it right now because my focus was more my focus for this video was more about Hillary Clinton, and I mean your African foreign policy advocate, Hillary Clinton, and decision that you made, as, you know, to implement those policies of the Secretary of State. As I say in the beginning of this little speech, as we can say, as we can call it, this is the African voice. I wish you get to listen to it one day. And I know you are a very involved guy. You have a good machine. You know, if you want to respond to this, I know some of your people will maybe bring it to you. I just want to see how fast it will get to you, and how soon, or how fast, if you want, you want to respond to this. I'm willing to have a debate, to have a talk, you know, with you. And as I say, it's not just me, and I represent all the people who think like I do. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Hopefully you listen to this one day. If not, at least I got to get it out my chest.